Hello, welcome to the Legendary Roundup. Today we're taking a look at 2018's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This movie is presented in Dolby Atmos. As always, spoilers ahead. Let's jump right in. First scene, and it starts off with this intense Sony logo, and right there, it's just like pulsating through the room. So as the opening Marvel credits roll, the sound just gets louder and louder and louder until it culminates into this really crazy, room-shaking, like under 20 hertz stuff at the 1 minute mark. And it is right here that does all sorts of crazy things to my room, and I love it. So that scene gets a 4. Scene 2 is what I call Spidey sense. And it starts off with him kind of poking the spider. And you get this nice little wave of bass that goes through the room. A little bit further into the scene, we get Spider-Man fighting Goblin. And each one of these steps that Goblin takes is thunderous. Reminds me so much of Godzilla. I think this might rival Godzilla's footsteps. Later on, when he fights Prowler, there's some nice bass when they get to these like cylinders that are rotating further on into the scene. And every time the movie kind of cuts to this beam, it is very, very powerful. Right here, when they cut away from there and things start going crazy, tons and tons of low in here. Okay, some of the most intense stuff comes at the end right here when this thing blows up. Right there. Ooh, that's a nice little bass wave. This scene gets a 5 out of 5. Scene 3 is kind of two scenes in one. It's the tail end of this Prowler scene. When he clumps onto the stairwell, it makes a nice resonating thud right there. And every time he kind of jumps down. A little bit later into the scene, we get them working on the Goober. And this scene has them fighting the bad guys. And each punch, each kick is very clean and hard-hitting. Throughout the whole movie, all the punches and strikes are very, very quick and hard-hitting. And I think that's a very strong point of the soundtrack. So once things get kind of crazy, nothing super low in this scene, but there's tons of bass activity throughout, and it's a fun little scene. So this section of the movie, I give it a 4. Scene 4, and the portal opens up again. And like I said, each time the portal opens up, it creates this crazy amount of bass that just goes through and shakes my couch and the walls, and it's amazing. These scenes are definitely demo worthy. Once they get into the fight, some standout moments is when Scorpion fights with her, and they got some really nice bass moments there. Okay, so this scene lasts for about 4 to 5 minutes, and this is the end part of the scene where she gets hit 3 times, and that third kick right there, that final punch was the best. So that scene gets a 5. Final scene, this involves Kingpin and Miles. And you know, each time Kingpin like stomps, and this goes throughout the whole movie as well, it's super bass heavy, and I love it. It really gives him a lot of weight for such a massive character. And I think it's pretty silly that he's so big on screen. The ending of this scene starts off with them slamming through these buildings, and there's some really heavy bass here. But the really fun stuff are the punches that are thrown by Kingpin. So each one of these punches feels really good, but the really good one is when he kind of like does his Kingpin stomp. I'm still not sure how he survives this, but it's a killer one.
Now I'm gonna make sure you never see yours again.
Oof! So right there, that's a good one. Alright, so far, this whole ending sequence, ending final battle with Kingpin has been really good. But where this scene earns his score is right here, when he hits the button, and yeah, things just blow up. It's quite intense in my room, so super fun, super awesome. this scene gets a 5. After averaging out the scores, we get 4.6 legendary brown notes out of 5. This movie shoots straight to the top of the leaderboard. I've made some changes to the leaderboard. I no longer have the rank number. They are now ranked by score, and if multiple titles share the same score, they're going to be sorted alphabetically. In terms of BassEQ, as I was comparing scenes back and forth, I just noticed that the boss platform is a little bit more active with BassEQ on. As you can see here in the opening sequence, the levels on the non-BassEQ track are still very high, still very enjoyable, and the BassEQ just adds just a little bit more. The music. You all heard the song Sunflower by Post Malone. If you've ever played that song on a system that can reproduce low frequencies, you'll notice that it has some really nice ULF. And when I measured it, it's about 17 hertz, and it's a strong 17 hertz. So if you can play it, it's a fantastic song to really give you that low-end rumble. The rest of the music was fantastic as well, and it really added to the contemporary feel of this movie. So the cast of characters was great. All the spider people were amazing, but the two that I really enjoyed, and I think this is an unpopular opinion, were Nick Cage's character and Spider-Pig, or Spider-Ham, or whatever they called them in the movie. I really enjoyed the levity they brought to the movie, and it was definitely something unique to me. I didn't know that those two were actual characters, and Nick Cage is always going to be one of my favorite actors. I know in recent times his stuff has not been as good, but I'm a 90s kid, so I really, really love me some Nick Cage, and I thought that he brought a lot of that good old Nick Cage to this role, even though it's a very small role. The art style has been talked about to death with this movie. If you've never seen this movie, A, I don't know how that's possible, but B, if you've never seen it and you watch it, you're going to notice that this type of animation is very, very different from anything you've ever seen, and I really, really enjoy it. There's lots of other videos that go in depth into like the effect, but all I'm going to say is that I really enjoyed the way they did it. It made it feel like a comic book brought to life, and they even had panels where it was like a comic book. Also, shout out to whoever decided to make Kingpin like take up 90% of the screen. I thought that was hilarious, and I thought that was actually a very cool move to make him seem larger than life. I was watching this movie, trying to find things that I didn't like. Couldn't find anything to talk about, so nothing here. Alright, so that's it. What did you think of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? Did you enjoy it? Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.